we're going to take out. And the thing about Iran is they're taking out, they're very strategic. And what's really impressive is they're calling their shots. They're telling you what they're going to blow up before they do, because they know you can't stop them. But they're calling their shots to let them know, like, this isn't an act of desperation. We're telling you what we're going to do. They're hitting all the radars. They've destroyed all the bases. And now they're taking out the refueling aircraft. Why is that significant? Because without the bases and without the refueling aircraft, the United States can't reach Iran. In order to reach Iran, they have to refuel in the air, or they have to have a base to launch from. If those bases are removed, they have nowhere to launch from. They literally can't reach Iran on an entire, tank of fuel. So that only leaves the aircraft carriers. And that's what America's been doing. They've been using what's called the standoff missiles, or the standoff ordnance, where they launch like tomahawks from a large distance. So they can't be shot down, which is fine. Iran's been dealing with it. And they've been picking apart America's ability to really operate in the theater. They're just picking apart their logistical line. They're taking apart their radars, their communications, their refueling aircraft. They're not going for body count. They're just disrupting America's entire ability to operate in the Persian Gulf at all. And the very last thing America can do, the only thing they can do at this point, is they can launch a ground invasion. Of course, a ground invasion from where? They have no bases. They were trying to set up they were gonna create a place in Iraq, and they were gonna start moving assets into Iraq in order to invade Iran from Iraq, and that did not work out because the Iraqi militias immediately started targeting the Americans as they started to set up any kind of position. And they fell back to the base in the green zone. I saw some reports that the Americans are basically fleeing Iraq. Like the entire Iraqi theater has been lost, and but I don't know if that has been confirmed. It could be social media bullshit. It's real. You don't have any idea how hard it is to figure out what the fuck is going on, because the full might of the propaganda and censorship capability of the regime is on full display. I have not seen this level of censorship and propaganda since COVID. That is the amount of propaganda and censorship that we're seeing. Things are getting through, but I don't want to just report rumors, because there's also people, sharing slop videos and shit like that. So it's really difficult to tell what's real, what's not, what's propaganda. But I am seeing reports that the Americans are taking a pounding in Iraq, and they're fleeing, or they're falling back, and they're abandoning the green zone, which is the same thing. They've already abandoned all the bases, all the former American bases throughout the region. They're all gone. All the Americans left, and when Iran hit America's been using the Persian Gulf, the Gulf Arab states air bases. They haven't been launching attacks from them, but they were using them for their refueling aircraft. Well, Iran started hitting them, but they called their shots. They told the Gulf Arabs, "We're not attacking you. We're just attacking the Americans." But then the other day, I can't remember the name of the island. There's an island off the coast of Iran, which is kind of like where they transport all of their natural gas. It's basically a natural gas loading and unloading station. It's like their main thing. Like almost all the natural gas, all the LNG that comes out of Iran goes through this island. In America, they blew up what they were calling the military targets on this island. Try to the rumor is, you know what? I'm going to jump around a bit. I'm sorry. All right, so this is actually kind of funny, because on Thursday, or I can't remember, earlier this week, I said that there's going to be a ground invasion, that they're going to be preparing for the ground invasion. And I had some guy in the comment section of my newsletter. He was like, "Oh, you think they're going to do a ground invasion, TFM? You're so stupid. You don't know what you're talking about." The next day, they announced that they're going to send a Marine expeditionary force of it was originally 2,500, and then it was 5,000. So they're going to send 5,000 Marines into Iran in order to presumably take the island, or presumably to take the Strait of Hormuz from Iran. And that's something. That's something they could do. Anyway. So let me back up again. So after they hit the island, yes, this was yesterday. Iran has now announced to these Arab states, okay, now we're taking missile fire from your bases. Okay, like we've identified where the missiles came from. They came from your country. We're going to retaliate. So anybody in the vicinity of like these places that the Americans are using, we're going to destroy them. You might want to leave. And they let them know, and then fucking sent the drones in and blew the shit out of them. So that's what Iran is doing. That's as of right now. All this shit about how their missiles are being destroyed, and that's complete fucking nonsense. And here's the fucking here's the most retarded thing, okay? Are you ready for the most retarded part of all of this? So the last thing America can do is do a ground invasion, but they're going to have to do it like what they already announced they're going to do. Either an amphibious landing where they just drop the Marines off to invade Iran from the Strait of Hormuz directly, or from one of their coastlines, or they can parachute soldiers in, like the 82nd Airborne, just drop them in, parachute style, in the middle of Tehran. Those are both horrible, horrible ideas. The dropping them off, if you drop the 82nd Airborne into the heart of Iran, they're going to be completely surrounded with no logistics, nothing. Like whatever they're carrying is all they have. And the last time they did like a big parachute drop was like the Korean War in the 50s. Okay? Now we have satellite targeting. We have loitering drones. If you don't know what a loitering drone is, it's a drone that just kind of hangs out in the air until it finds a target and then drops right down on it and blows it up. Those are going to be everywhere. It's going to be a turkey shoot if they try to parachute, tens of thousands of Americans into the heart of Tehran. Most of them are going to get fucking slaughtered before they even hit the ground. The ones that make it, they're going to be completely surrounded with no hope of anything. Nobody's coming to pick them up. They don't have any forward operating base to retreat to. They don't have any logistical lines. They're just going to be on their own, surrounded on all sides, and hoping that somehow that their amazing combat prowess allows them to just completely dominate the battlefield. However, here's why that's probably not going to happen. We tried using special forces like a week and a half ago, where, if you remember, they announced the Kurds are going to invade, and this is all a distraction. The Kurds never invaded, but they tried to distract the Iranians with a Kurdish invasion from the northwest. Meanwhile, they dropped in a special forces team. I've heard it's around. I heard it was over 100, but I don't know. Apparently, it was like Delta Force and some other whatever. And then that was the end of them. I've heard some reports they were captured. I've heard other reports they were all killed. But whatever operation involved these special forces, they were supposed to take a nuclear facility, and it was a complete disaster. So, if you believe, I understand what happened in Venezuela was very impressive. You need to understand something about what happened in Venezuela. The people on the inside were bribed to let it happen. Okay? This idea that, these American helicopters are just, missile-proof and bulletproof, and they can just fly in and kidnap people and fly out, and the army's like, oh no, my ears hurt. They have amazing science fiction weapons that make my ears hurt. This is all bullshit. If that were true, then why did the special forces get slaughtered in Iran? Why did special forces get slaughtered in Yemen? There was a thing the other year, back when we were at war with Yemen. We launched a special forces team of about 70, if memory serves. I don't have it in front of me. My numbers might be slightly off. But we sent 70 special forces into Yemen, and they were all killed. They were all ambushed and killed. So, yeah, when we bribe somebody to let us win, Jake Paul style, sure, it could look really impressive. Great photo op. but we're not. That's not going to happen. And we have no bases in the Middle East. Iran is now attacking, as of today, they are now attacking the Arab states. And look, I don't blame the Arabs. The Arabs but they can't tell America no. Like they don't have a choice. America's going to do what it wants, and they're using their bases to launch attacks, so Iran's going to retaliate. But they've let the Arab states know, like, this isn't about you. We're just attacking the Americas, but they're using you. They're trying to use you as like human shields, thinking we won't attack you because we don't want a war. But here's the thing: Iran doesn't care. What are the Arabs going to do? I mean, if the Arabs use the same exact NATO weapons that America uses, that Israel uses, the Arab states don't have some like fancy, amazing weapon that only they have. It's going to be this big game changer. Okay, now I'm going to switch gears. Let me tell you what's happening. This is going to blow your mind. If this is the first time you're hearing about this is going to blow your mind. In 2002, there was a military game, a simulation. Now, let me tell you how military simulations work. They're not like an exact science. It's not like a computer simulation. It's more like D&D, or it's more like Warhammer, which, in case you didn't know, wargaming and thus tabletop role-playing like D&D, it all started with military simulations. Like generals way back in the day, like the Napoleonic era, they would set up game boards representing their armies, and they would do mock battles with their armies. And they would basically look for flaws in their tactics. Or they would replay battle to see what they could have done differently to turn the tide of battle and win the battle. Like, they'd take a battle that, a general lost. Like, the famous one was Waterloo, where Napoleon lost. And they'd replay that battle to see what Napoleon could have done to win. But that's where wargaming came from. And from wargaming came D&D and tabletop role-playing. So it's all that, the nerdy shit. It actually, was basically generals that started this whole hobby. Anyway, those war games still go on to this day. We still do these role-playing war games to see how we stack against an enemy, and we always assign the what's called the red team or the opposite team to someone who knows what they're talking about, someone who can actually play to win, using the tactics available to them and whatever they have to try to win. So in 2002, there was a war game called the Millennium Challenge. And the red team was pretty much not Iran. It was definitely based on Iran, but they called it just, red. It was just red. It wasn't explicitly Iran, but it was Iran. All right, so not Iran was the bad guy. And you need to understand, this was early 2000s Iran. This isn't 2026 Iran. There were no hypersonic missiles. There were no drones. What Iran had were like fast boats, mines, shit like that. And when the war game was conducted, Iran won. And Iran won by doing exactly what they're doing right now. This asymmetric warfare. And let me so I need to explain asymmetric warfare in general, but also this asymmetric warfare in particular. So, starting with Vietnam, the Viet Cong couldn't compete with America, on an equal playing field. They fought America indirectly. And by the way, if you're like, oh, that's not fair, it's because they're pussies. That's how we defeated the British. We did not line up in neat little rows and wait for our turn to shoot each other, like the way the British were trained during the Napoleonic era. We fought the British by ambushing them. Shit we learned from the Apaches and shit like that. That's how we won the Revolutionary War. We fought dirty. We fought an asymmetric war. That's what America's always done. We always fight dirty. Oh, HD's here. Hold on. Let me. Welcome, HD. You are our first guy in show.
Oh, that was quick. I just clicked in, and you noticed right away.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have anything on my screen, so I noticed you popped up. All right, so, where was I? The Millennium Challenge.
We're
talking about asymmetric warfare. So asymmetric warfare start with the Viet Cong, which the Viet Cong won. Vietnam won that war. We lost. That was like the first major war that we basically realized we weren't accomplishing our objectives. Now, the Viet Cong never defeated us in battle. It wasn't like Ukraine. We just like weren't achieving our objective. It was expensive. People were dying. Nothing was being accomplished, and we eventually just packed it in and left. That was the Vietnam War. From the Vietnam War, many lessons were learned. Basically, American military doctrine is very well understood by everyone. And everyone who has any risk of being opposed by America has basically learned this lesson the hard way. And so Iran has taken this all the way. So, all their shit is underground. Iran is covered in mountains. It's basically a fortress. And they have all their shit underground, protected by fucking mountains, where you can't blow them up. That's